Before any bauxite mining can be undertaken by GIADEC, the Environmental Protection Agency requires an environmental impact assessment to be completed. The first step of this is to conduct a Biodiversity Baseline Study in each proposed mining location. EPA has contracted consultants at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to carry out the first Biodiversity Baseline Study for Atewa Forest. Baseline studies will also be carried out in Nyinahin and its environs before any bauxite mining licenses are granted.
The environment is constantly changing, and then there are some environments that we need to protect because there are some living organisms that are of particular interest to man.
The Environmental Protection Agency was established by Act of Parliament. The agency, as prescribed by the Act, has about 19 functions, out of which is the agency advising the Minister responsible for environment on policies and recommendations that protect the environment. The agency, among others, is also required to issue environmental permits to undertakings which includes mining, manufacturing, and also prescribing pollution abatements procedures. Anybody, any individual, company, or entity that has what it takes to establish anything. For example, if it is mining, to establish any mine, the company or that individual has to go through the environmental impact assessment process.
Before we can decide on how we are going to protect these species, we will need to know what biodiversity is there, where can they be found, and then how to go about this process.
One of the most key things is what we call the baseline conditions. It means that the conditions within the area where your undertaking or the mining will take place, you have to let us know the full details. That looks at the flora, looks at fauna, look at water resources, look at air quality, look at so many things.
The first thing that you would want to do is do a reconnaissance. A reconnaissance is just going to the area, looking at your steady area, looking at the characteristics of the species you are likely to sample, and then trying to look at logistical problems. And this will inform you on the main survey that you are going to conduct.
When we do this, you compare it with international standards on those plants and animals. And if it is found that there is a particular organism which is endangered or which is recommended that we should protect them, then we put in place the necessary mechanisms to protect them.
Part of my task is to use satellite imagery and then remote sensing and then GIS equipment to capture the kind of cover that exists. Cover like open forests, closed forests. This would help us know where the starting point is and what we have in terms of each of these cover types that we are interested in.
We are interested in the water bodies. Where are they found? How do they flow? Do they flow all year round or they only flow for a short time within the rainy season?
We are there to advise government in terms of what we have by way of biodiversity in Atewa and what role would this intended mine activity would have on the water resources. We all know the importance of water in our ecosystem and our livelihood. And what we have to advise as researchers is to see the best possible ways that we can protect our water bodies and to harness the resource potential.
One aim of our study, which is important to our mandates from EPA, is to make sure that our report represents all interested stakeholders in the area.